Except, of course, I don't think vice presidential candidates make that much of a difference. It's going to really be her versus Trump. Now, she's got a reputation of being an airhead, a giggler. She failed on the border, which was the one job that Joe Biden gave her. Is this a problem for Donald Trump?
Well, it's going to make the race much more competitive. I mean, Donald Trump is constantly sitting around 46% vote. And what was happening was that the Democrats, with all the infighting, were bleeding enthusiasm. And so now this has given the Democrats a lot of enthusiasm. I mean, there's a real energy amongst the Democrats today and a sense of relief that they can go forward with another candidate. So it is going to be a very competitive race. There's 106 days to go. There could be a myriad of international events that occur that could cause a twist and a turn in the election campaign. There will be gaffes, there will be mistakes. I think it's going to be a lot closer because at the end of the day, it's coming down to just 800,000 people in 4 states.
And lastly, the way you describe it, Joe Hockey, so Joe Biden wakes up in the morning, he's still going to fight, tells his friends he's going to fight, and then suddenly it all gets too much, right? People are praising him for his patriotism in putting the nation, his party, above himself. But seriously, this guy was blasted out, wasn't he?
Well, at the end of the day, he was, because, as you and I have discussed before, Andrew, people don't willingly give up power. The last time it happened was Lyndon Johnson here in the United States, who decided not to run at the last minute. And that last minute was, in fact, well before this point in the electoral cycle back in the late 60s. So it's uncharted territory, this. And Joe Biden has been a fighter all his life. One of the interesting stats is that this is the first presidential, vice presidential election in nearly 50 years when you haven't had a Bush, a Biden or a Clinton on one of the tickets. This is the first time in nearly 50 years and since 1976. So that name recognition of the Bushes, the Bidens, the Clintons, that is worth a lot in a country that relies on voluntary voting. And so we are now going into a whole new era in American politics. This is a changing of the guard, and the Bushes, the Bidens and the Clintons are for the first time in nearly 50 years not on a presidential or vice presidential ticket.
Well, the Democrats are making a lot about this changing the guard, the passing on of the torch and all that, and making the point that here's Kamala Harris, 59. Now the oldest person in the race is Donald Trump at 78. But the point is, the difficulty for the Democrats here, surely, Joe Hockey, is this. Yes, they've got the new generation candidate, but they've got one that's pushing the old Joe Biden policies. That's the problem. It's a new candidate, but the old agenda. They really might, in a perfect world, they would have a new candidate with a new agenda. They don't have that.
Well, this is a test for Kamala Harris. Will she have her own agenda? I suspect she will. She'll try and present a new agenda, but there's no way she can just abandon all the things that the Biden administration has done, because she was the vice president. She was the running mate. And frankly, the agenda that Biden has rolled out is what has held together the Black Caucus, has held together Bernie Sanders and AOC and the left wing of the party. They've been part of it. The Democrats have, in the main, been actually pretty disciplined. And when Bernie Sanders says that Joe Biden's been the best president in many, many years, then you can be sure that the agenda was pretty left wing. And so now Kamala Harris is going to try and protect that, but she has to reach out. She has to reach out to the middle ground and try and get young people particularly enthused about her candidacy.
Joe Hockey, great to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Andrew.